Breaking paradigms. Let's talk about it today in Car Chats with Robert. Hi guys, this is Robert Rivera with the Rivera Trading Group in association with Trading Academy. And the process of breaking paradigms can take some time. I spoke about paradigms last time. For those of you who may not know, paradigms are mental constructs that we build as we're growing up to make sense of the world and to feel safe in it. However, as we grow up, those same paradigms that kept us safe and made sense of the world also keep us stuck in certain habits and certain ways of being that can become difficult when you're trying to improve your life. If you're trying to move up in life, whether it is financial scales or whether it is losing weight or whether it is relationships. You know, we learn some things because of our relationship with our parents, the people that are around us, our teachers, pastors, whoever had influence in our lives. We learn some things along the way, and those become paradigms. They become like boundaries in our mind to, again, keep us safe. It's good to know what angers your father if your father tends to beat you. It's good to know what upsets your teacher if your teacher giving you bad grades could put you in trouble at home, and on and on and on and on with your boss and other people in authority, right? Paradigms then help us to navigate the social relationships that we have in life and make it so that we can, in our view and how we see it, become successful. For some people, success is just simply not getting beat today. That's sad, but it is true. You know, for another one, success could be in their mind, you know, not losing their job. Okay. Well, imagine that person whose paradigm is don't lose your job, now trying to become an entrepreneur, which is all about taking risks. You know, becoming an entrepreneur is about taking risk, and you have to basically take leaps of faith based on, hopefully, some understanding of how things work, and then and make improvements along the way. But the way of the entrepreneur is up and down, up and down, up and down, hopefully until they can get some level of knowledge, and then that up and down becomes a little more of a uphill climb, you know, while still getting their dips and going back up and getting their dips and going back up, you know. And it is difficult, again, with someone whose mindset is one of protection and safety, to then go into an atmosphere of risk, you know, such as Forex. And that's some of the things that are keeping some of you down. In my case, I have spoken at liberty, you know, very freely about the changes that I'm trying to create in my own life and some of the paradigms that I have had. You know, I'm working on some of them right now. And last night is a good example of what I'm trying to do right now for myself, for my Forex career. And also a good example too, as a cautionary tale also. So let's talk about it. So this is part of the setup as I had it last night on GBP USD. I did not send it out to the team because, again, it had been very choppy, as you can tell. It had been up and down, up and down, up and down, very choppy. And there were news last night. There were GBP news that were coming out at 4:30, and then USD news that were coming out in the morning. And I wanted to avoid the new trader having problems with it. But I sat there watching it, watching the action to see if there was going to be an opportunity for me to take advantage of it. And you can take a notice of, again, how price is bumping up against that resistance. It keeps bumping up against it, and then finally, and then below it, there's that 50 moving average that's coming up. The blue way down there is the 200, and this is the 50 moving average, the one that turns red and green in the middle. I believe this is the hour chart. Yeah, this is the hour chart, and this is the result as we got it. So that's the result right there. And what you see is price came down and and bounced off of that 50 as price was breaking the bottom. As I tried to do it on several occasions, I took sell positions there. I took two sell positions, and unfortunately for me, I didn't close the second one in time, and so I ended up it stocked me out in profit, but still not the numbers that I was looking for last night. So then I entered another position as it was coming back down, and it came back down and it crossed the 50 moving average. Now, talking about paradigms, I'm trying to enter into a paradigm where I'm trading the chart and not income. In other words, I've been trading income based, right? That's been my approach because it's about the money, right? It's about making the money. But what I've been doing is shortchanging myself because when opportunities come that I can make a significant amount of pips, I don't let it keep running. And so what I ran into last night was I was trying to let it run as it kept trying to break through that 50, and eventually it came up against me. So that was a loss. So now I'm sitting there waiting, waiting and waiting and waiting to see what if it's actually going to start moving to the upside, because I see on the 4 hour it looks like it's becoming bullish. And so I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting. And then on the 30-minute, finally, I see how it's starting to move to the upside. I took a position from just after it bounced off the 50. I took a position going up, basically canceling my losses now, and now I'm waiting to see if it's going to climb above the 50 moving average on the 30-minute, which I don't have it here. But I did take one position. I took one position on this one on GBP USD, and then I took a position in GBP AUD, which I'm going to show here in just a minute. And as I push up, you could basically call the 8 exponential moving average as the line right there, the blue line, the teal line. As it's crossing to the upside, I took that position right there. And when it hit the top of the line, I went ahead and took my profit, which went that went pretty well. Okay, let's go look at the GBP AUD. So this was a GBP AUD setup, and I forgot to print these before I left home, so I'm having to deal with the ones on the phone. I'm sorry, guys. But again, you see a line of tendency or trend line coming down, right? Price has not been able to break through that line as it's coming down, and now it is pressing against the bottom zone. I'm watching that happen, and I'm thinking, okay, it could break to the bottom, but GBP I think was at 2. AUD was at 1.5, and I'm thinking, no, that doesn't look like it's going to break to the bottom. There's not momentum there to go with it, right? There's not enough momentum to break to the bottom there. The pairs are almost equal in strength. This is what we ended up with, and I'm watching this happen. And as it bounced again from the 50 moving average, just like it did in the GBP USD, I'm watching it go up. As it broke through the trend line, I took my position. And almost at the very tip of that move right there, that wick move to the top, is where I got out and forget about it, and I was done. Not a bad haul for 2 hours worth of work. I'll show you here in just a minute. So these are the results from last night. And again, as I mentioned before, I took those first two positions to the downside, and I should have closed the one that turned red right there, that one right there that turned red. I should have closed that one when I was up a 200 and some dollars or something like that. But again, I'm trying to be more patient with the setup and play the chart, play the market structure. So it came out against me, which turned into into that $68 win. It made like it was breaking to the bottom again. It did give me, I don't know, 8, 9 pips, something like that. I'm letting it run, and it came back against me, which resulted in that loss of 306. So then, as it's bouncing back up, as I mentioned in the previous one, as it's going back up, I went ahead and took a position from the bounce up. That 240 eliminates my losses and basically had me like in $60 profit or something like that. Then I waited for GBP USD to go above the 50 moving average on the 30-minute. That's that 680 nice one that you see there. And at the same time, I had GBP AUD running, which is that wick that you saw to the top above the trend line. Not a bad haul for 2 hours worth of work. And this is what I meant by being a cautionary tale when it comes to breaking paradigms. When you go to break a paradigm, you're going to have those undulations, those up and down profit moves, right? You're gonna be up a certain amount, then you're gonna be down a certain amount. You're gonna be up a certain amount, you're gonna be down a certain amount on your daily profits. Some days you will lose also. And so, me having this great win doesn't mean that I should be thinking that I'm going to keep getting these wins. I just have to become consistent with getting these wins. And so, some wins will be hopefully 1,000, right? That's this one almost hit my $1,000 goal. That's my $1,000 a day goal. Is almost got there. That's the paradigm that I'm trying to break. But my point is, as a cautionary tale, is we should not think that this is always going to be up, 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 up. You're going to have some losses. So you have to be mentally ready for when the paradigm hits you, because that paradigm is going to be there until you create the new one. That I had this breakthrough last night, which it is a breakthrough for me. That I had this breakthrough last night does not mean that I'm done with it. It just means I got a breakthrough. Now I have to get my psyche accustomed to this way of trading and this way of making money in order to let it to continue to grow. Okay, so that's what I mean by a cautionary tale on that. Um, Breaking paradigms is not a straight line. It has its jagged movements. You just got to keep pressing against it, and you will succeed. Welcome back. As I was saying, breaking paradigms takes some time. You're not going to overnight eliminate a paradigm. You will have moments like I did last night where I have it. This is a times 2, almost 3 what I usually make on a day. And that spike in improvement, but perhaps the next one I make 1,200. It could be, but I understand that at some point I'm gonna go back and make 300. I'm gonna make 400. Someday I'll make 200. Some days I'll lose money. It's part of the process. Okay. In order to become, let me put it this way: in order to become consistent making $1,000 a day, you first have to be consistent making $50 a day. And then you become consistent making $100 a day. And then you become consistent making $300 a day, and on and on and on. When you are becoming consistent making $50 a day, there are days when you only make 20. There are days when you lose 10. There are days when you lose 75. I mean, that's just the process of growth and maturity. It's just like walking, for example. Your paradigm when you're a baby is that you cannot walk, right? But there's something inside of you that says, darn it, I'm going to walk. And you just keep trying, and you keep trying, and you keep trying. You get up, you fall. You get up, you fall. You get up, you fall. Then one day you got up and you stood and you didn't fall. But guess what? 5 minutes later, you fall. And then you stand up and you stay up a little longer, and then you fall, and on and on and on and on. That's the process of breaking paradigms. Okay, that's what I want to encourage you with. If that's the process that you are in right now, be encouraged. That is the process of growth. You're not doing anything wrong. Just keep studying. As long as you are studying, as long as you are dedicating the proper time, and if you are, only you know this. If you're doing what you're supposed to do. And please don't kid yourself. If you're not spending time in the chart, if you're not studying, if you're not backtesting, if you're not, if you don't have your rules written, if you don't have your goals written, then you're fooling yourself. So please don't fool yourself. Do the things that you have been instructed to do, follow them, and then develop your data and see how you're progressing. All right. And the way you progress is like that. You go up, you go down, you go up, you go down. Sometimes you go further down than what you've been up. And you do this over and over and over and over, and you keep climbing little by little. Then you find stability. That's the consistency that we're talking about, that we're trying to get all our traders to. That consistency that we want you to get, right? And then once you get that consistency, then you start moving up and you go down, and you go up and you go down, you go up and you go down, but you're moving upwards in that upward trend, just like the market does. I hope that is you, and I hope that you found this informative and helpful. And if so, please like, comment, and subscribe. God bless you guys. This is again Robert Rivera with Rivera Trading Group in association with Trade Trading Academy. God bless.